paper and you have a special place on your desk where you write down notes and you jot something because somebody said something in a meeting and you go, oh, I can make a topic, a speech out of that. If you're like me, you like to put everything on your computer. And I actually have a folder entitled Toastmasters. And under that folder, I have another folder for like forms and a folder for rosters and a folder for contests. And I have a folder for speeches. And then under that, I have speeches given and speeches not given. And under the speeches not given, it's all Word documents. And those documents may be as little as one word. I may have a document that says retirement because I want to talk to you all about how I retired early. I may have an entire speech already written, but I haven't had a chance to give it because it hasn't lined up with any of the goals, or maybe I'm doing a little bit more tweaking. But most of the time, that Word document has links to webinars or essays or blogs that talk about a particular topic that I need to research further because I think it would be a very interesting topic for everyone to hear. So I want to encourage each and every one of you all to start doing a topics list so that the next time that you need to give a speech, you won't procrastinate as much, and maybe you'll get working on it quickly, and you may have even gotten it put together even before the meeting is assigned. So that is my speaker nugget for tonight. And as Kalila said, we will take short question and answers if you all have any questions about this particular nugget.
Karen, thank you so much for that. What I would like to do, just for the sake of time, I would like for everyone to take about 20 seconds to maybe write down the question that you may have for Karen. And I want to come back to that because I don't want our guest speaker to rush because she is pressed for time tonight. But I actually have a question. So we are going to come back to, the question and answer. And I think we'll do that after table topics, just to give us a moment to count our table topics votes. At this time, I would like to turn the meeting over to our general evaluator. If you are able to maybe present Renee's introduction. If not, I know that Crystal has it. So maybe you can do it, Ed, or Crystal has it because Crystal is the one who invited her to us.
I'm going to default it to Crystal just because I do not have it.
Thank you. Crystal, if you could introduce us to Renee, and Renee, the next voice that we'll hear after Crystal will be yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Renee Boyes-Murdo is a longtime member of Toastmasters. Her membership in Toastmasters was in California, and she has served in many offices within her club. She has also participated in the area, district, and regional contests through her years in Toastmasters. She currently has reached the bronze level of accomplished speaker within the Toastmasters program, and she is eager to give her speech. So please welcome Renee as she gives her speech, You, Life Lessons and Questions.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and any welcome guests that may be here with us. You, Life Lessons and Questions. We all ask ourselves questions as we go through life. Who am I? Where am I going in life? What am I supposed to be doing in life? You're not alone. Many people, most people ask themselves these same questions. At times, they readily have answers, but most often they don't. And they continue to ask the same questions. Be careful about going down rabbit holes and getting lost when you're trying to find answers. That happens frequently. In fact, it's happened to me a number of times. Let's say you're one of the lucky ones who is sure they know themselves, but aren't sure where they're going, or know themselves and know where they are going. Good, great. I'm glad for you. Have you ever wondered what else you are capable of? What else you could accomplish in your life? How else you can grow? Or has life become settled like a comfortable old worn out shoe that you continually keep pulling out of the closet and putting on? What questions do you need to ask yourself? What changes do you need to make? Let's say you're someone who doesn't really know what they want in life or where they're going. Ask questions about you. Who am I? Write out an introduction for yourself as if you were the keynote speaker. How would you describe you? List your life milestones, your accomplishments, your education. These are just a start to getting to know yourself. Ask a trusted friend to write an honest introduction for you as if they were introducing you as a speaker. Remember, don't be upset by what they write. Be open and receptive and ready to learn. We may not always like what we hear about ourselves, but I, for one, would rather hear honesty instead of untruths, lies, dishonesty. Stop, listen, really, really listen, and grow from what you hear or read. There's an exercise which is frequently conducted at a class or seminar which I have attended. Think of someone you admire. Write down 3 attributes or strengths you like or admire about them. Generally, those 3 attributes or strengths are the same ones that are within you, and we have consciously or subconsciously acknowledged and recognized them in that person we admire. Life lessons. Don't doubt yourself. Accept this revelation into your life and see it as a beautiful gift to yourself, beautifully wrapped with a huge ribbon on top, to you alone. Are you strong, kind, smart? Are you weak in areas that frustrate you? Are you disorganized? Are you shy? Remember, these most often are repeated stories you have told yourself, and they are areas you can always work on to improve. As you start to work on yourself, never, never throw the baby out with the bathwater. We can be our own worst and harshest critic. Be kind to yourself. Become your own best friend. Work at that. Another loaded question is, where do I want to go? My recommendation, and remember, I'm not a life coach, but start a journal. Write down things that interest you or appeal to you. You could start to see a pattern or similarities emerge. Seriously look at these and start researching professions or lifestyles that are within the realm of your list. Ask yourself, does anything you have researched or written down appeal to you? Could you really see yourself doing that or being a part of that? Whatever that is, quote unquote. Keep your journal simple, but be consistent. With consistency, you will have a record to see upward movement that will bring you joy and a sense of accomplishment. Look for a life coach to help you. Research to find teachers, lessons, or classes to take. Read books and articles related to where you think you want to go. Start with a broad category, such as, I want to be a sought-after keynote or motivational speaker. I want to be a Toastmaster. Break it down into the steps you needed to take to reach your goal of joining Toastmasters today. Just keep repeating that. Keep setting those goals. Relish and celebrate each accomplishment. Remember, you can start something new at any stage or age of your life. Never stop learning. Never fall into the trap of saying, I can't because I'm too old. To fill in the blank with whatever you feel about yourself, and look at why you're saying that. Never say that won't work without also having a solution to make it work. Remember too, we are the sum total of our individual life lessons we have learned to this point today in our lives. Declutter your life, focus and stay motivated. Keep your mental health in a okay, I'm going to mispronounce the word of the day, salubrious state. And it's time to keep that old worn out shoe either in the closet or throw it away and just take care of you and look forward to the future. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Renee. Listening to your speech, all I kept thinking about was our theme for today, health is wealth. And I really appreciate what you shared. I can't wait to hear what Dallas has to share with us about your speech so that we can also learn and grow from hearing her evaluation. I do understand that soon you will have to leave, but I do invite you to stay with us as long as you can, because we are headed into a very fun part of our meeting, which is the table topics. I want to invite you, Megan, to release your mic to start our table topics tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. It's a delight to be here with everyone. I'm in a very salubrious environment here outside, listening to the birds and maybe a lawnmower in the background. Hopefully that's not too distracting. Tonight, I will be asking a series of questions that are health related in keeping with our topic. First question will be for Ed. So when you're ready, Ed. Thinking of this past year, our social lives have taken a back seat. When we were all focused on social distancing and protecting, ourselves and others from COVID, what steps have you taken to stay engaged or to re-engage socially to have a good social mental health?
Thank you for the question, Megan. I became a recluse in fact, for the first half of this pandemic, I went heads down. I went lockdown mode. I put my kids in lockdown mode. The whole family's in lockdown mode. And it didn't take long to realize that I don't know if it was as healthy, healthy physically, but as you mentioned, socially, it didn't work. It just didn't work. I reached out to some friends and asked about going to supper. And it was numerous friends. And I found that some were still in lockdown mode. They just didn't want to get out, even outside. We did everything we could to kind of get back to the normal, but the reality is no, there wasn't a new normal. So I had to do things a little bit different. We wound up getting out on bike trails. So we would go to the state park and ride. And yes, we kept our social distance, but we had an opportunity to actually stop and talk about the tortoise that's on the trail. We talked about with other people. We had an opportunity to actually stop and talk to a family of tourists, and they're all excited, like, look, there's an alligator. We kept our distance, but socially, I popped. I couldn't stay in the house any longer, nor could my family. And I was also challenged with my daughter going out. She got a job. Again, expanding into that social realm, so to speak. I also wound up training for the triathlon. And it was experience because not only did it help me physically, I had an opportunity to sit around and talk to people at the pool about the skills and what they do and the challenges. And oh yeah, we wound up for the first time, we signed up for racquetball. And yeah, me and Marie are playing racquetball and we're talking to the gym folks, and I couldn't hold it back in socially. I tried. I just couldn't do it. I could come up
with ways to work around that, to work around the needing to fulfill that social need while keeping a safe distance. So that hats off to you for that. That's been very difficult for so many of us. Kalila, in your experience, what are the top 3 things you can do each day to improve your physical health?
Thank you for the question, Megan. If I had to choose 3 things that I could do for my physical health to do every day, one would be rest. Going to bed either early or ensuring you're able to take a nice nap throughout the day, depending on your work schedule. Rest allows our cells to rejuvenate. It allows our mind to relax a bit. It helps our muscles to repair. Rest is very important. So rest would be the first thing. The second thing that I would do is encourage water. We all know that water is one of the most salubrious drinks or beverages that we could partake in. There you go, Karen. Water also helps to hydrate us. It hydrates our skin. It hydrates the largest organ in our body, which is our skin, but it also makes our organs happy. I will tell you though, it takes a lot of water to equate to the type of water that you can get intravenously. So just ensure that you're doing this every day. One thing I used to tell my students when I taught human anatomy and physiology, and we would do a water study, was to drink at least half of your body weight in ounces in water a day, but do not go over a certain amount because they had smaller bladders. So we wanted to be careful. The third thing I would do is walk. If you can walk at least 20 minutes a day, 30 minutes is great. Walking involves every single part of your physical body, but you also get a bonus when you walk. Mental clarity, possibly. You get to take in the season, you get to take in your environment and things that you see. If you're walking on a treadmill, you can adjust certain things and strengthen your muscles. So there were 3 things that I could do. That would be drink water, get rest, and walk. Topics master.
Thank you, Kalila. I wouldn't have put rest at the top of the list, but thank you for that reminder. That's good to remember that. That is vital. Next question will be for Karen. Karen, is there a particular salubrious place in your life where you go to recharge and find peace?
Thank you for that wonderful question. And yes, I think that I try to start my day in the right frame of mind, and I do a daily devotion every morning and I read part of the Bible. So there's 2 parts to that, and I do that prior to anything. I don't have a cup of coffee. I don't turn on the TV. I don't turn on a radio. I get up. I may go to the bathroom first, and then I go into the living room where it's nice and quiet and I'm all by myself, and I dive into a daily devotion, into reading the Bible, and then having a moment of prayer. I've been doing this now consistently every day for about 4 years, and I can tell you it has made a big difference. I don't think I would have been able to handle the COVID situation had I not already had the discipline to do my day this way and start it out, because I could lay to God all of the things that I thought were going to bother me that day. And you all know that I have started doing a series of hobbies as my topics. I had to move away from them because some of the goals that were given to me in my pathway didn't align up. But one of the things that I do want to get back to is talking to you all about a new hobby that I started, which is quilting. And in fact, I've already been asked to give a speech about this at the senior center because they want to show other seniors that you can cope through the COVID. You can make a positive difference. You don't have to go out with a whole bunch of people, but you can do something like I did and make quilts and give them away and see the reactions that people got when they received one of my quilts. I have made since October 15 quilts. I went hog wild on making quilts, but it was a salubrious activity for me. Miss Topics Master.
Thank you, Karen. That is quite ambitious. And I'm very impressed with your discipline. Crystal, next question is for you, and it's about financial health. Is accumulating wealth important to you, and how important is financial security to individual health?
Thank you, Madam Topics Master. I do believe in securing financial wealth. I believe in it for a variety of reasons. For one, I believe it's important to give back what has been given to you. When you accumulate financial wealth, in my opinion, it is truly not yours. It belongs to a higher power that gave it to you in the first place. We are here for a purpose. So when I accumulate something, I want to give it back to others because too much is given, much is required. So giving back and serving others with my finances is a way I can give back and serve the people that are around me. I also feel that it can change the trajectory of my family by building generational wealth. Generational wealth that can help us to advance in whatever our goals are, to be able to live in a better environment for my children, to be able to bless others that are not as fortunate as I am. When I have those resources, I can do more by having more wealth. It's very, very important because we do need funds in order to buy our everyday needs. Not only that, we need funds to be able to just do things that we not normally need but may want. That's part of living life and living life abundantly. I love to travel. I love being able to have the resources to do that. But the most important thing I love to be able to do is to have a resource to give to others that are in need. So yes, it's important to accumulate wealth. It is important to have financial security so that you won't be depending on anyone to take care of you nor your family. And it is important to give back to those that may not have as many resources as you do. Back to you, Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Crystal. I love how you started that out with giving back, the importance of giving back with our financial wealth. Next question will be for Debbie Sue. Going back to thinking about our social lives, some people have been having difficulty getting back out there, experiencing some social anxiety after being isolated for so long. Do you have any suggestions and the best way to handle this for those who may feel a bit of social anxiety?
Thank you, Madam Topics Master. That's an amazing topic for a social butterfly who's become a hermit. COVID didn't make for a good time with my social butterfly, but you see, I married an introvert. He only got worse over COVID. So how do you get out and do more? Because I've had that very issue myself. So I make sure that I do consistent things, like go to synagogue every Saturday. I can engage with the people in our mishpachah, which is called our family. And if I'm consistently there every time, I don't miss an opportunity to meet a new person, to talk to someone who hasn't been there in a long time. And it lets me engage comfortably with people that I already know. So finding a group you're comfortable with and pushing yourself to consistently, regularly engage with them. And then finding a way to meet new people is really necessary. And I've probably met more people this year than I've met in the past altogether, because we've had these onlines and we can go to Zoom meetings and we can meet people. But to find somebody you can talk with one-on-one, so you can see the whites in their eyes, you can sense that energy in their being when you're one-on-one. Think about the salubrious, or whatever that word is, that helps you engage and interact with others. It is there. There's an energy that we can't always feel on this Zoom thing. I'm telling you, it just doesn't always happen. So when you're in person, pay attention to the tingling in your toes and your hands. And that's a good thing, not a bad thing. And then just flow with it. Because they like to hear their name, use their name a lot. They like to talk about themselves, ask them a question about themselves. People will talk like crazy and then they'll say, oh, Deborah was the best friend I ever had. She listened. Yeah, listen, have fun, and get out and socialize. That's my word for the day. Thank you, Madam Topics Master.
Thank you, Debbie Sue. What great advice, staying consistent, meeting new people one-on-one. I love that. And the next question will be for Bill. Did I ask you a question yet?
No, you have not.
Okay. Bill, let's see. Your question will be, in your own experience, what are the top 3 things you can do each day to improve your mental health?
Thank you, Megan, for that wonderful question. One of the things I do every day is I do like Kalila recommended. I take a 20-minute meditation. I have a little thing on YouTube, one by the Honest Guys, a little meditation point. And I put on some headphones. I lay down in my recliner, and next thing I know, it's like a 20-minute nap. And I sort of set my alarm for my phone to make sure I get back up, that I don't take an extended nap. That has helped me rejuvenate, refresh my mental work, and I come back sharper to work after I do that 20-minute meditation. The other thing I do is I'm stuck here at the house. I'm working from the house, so I go outside, I walk around my yard, and I have a big butterfly garden. And basically, I'm trying to find all the new plants that are blooming, what's visiting them. We also have a large area where we feed birds. So I watch the birds, and then I go out and, you know, at the end of the day, I'll go out and walk around in my neighborhood. And some of my neighbors will be outside. I like to go around, talk with them. And, you know, it's a very salubrious environment because everybody in my block, I think, is working from home. So basically, they are doing what I'm doing, just trying to get out for the day. We're not like hugging all over each other and everything. We're maintaining our social distance. But basically, we are trying our best to, you know, follow the guidelines, get outside, and be some social aspect. So that's basically the 3 things that I've been doing, and have it's really helped me out, just really has. So thank you, Megan, for that wonderful question.
Thank you, Bill, for sharing that. I also start my day with some meditation and try to get outside when I can, walk around the neighborhood, because I too am a work from home employee now permanently. So making the best of it. So appreciate those tips. Dallas, this next question will be for you. What are the top 3 things that you can do each day to improve financial health?
You can't ask me that question because one of them would be canceling my Amazon account because I am an Amazon shopaholic, okay? When I come home, Amazon is at my door. When I leave, I'm praying when I come home and Amazon is at my door. So one of the one of the better things that I could do to maintain financial stability and growth and creating a salubrious, is that right? Salubrious financial sound bed for myself is to save. I am an avid saver. So if you are if you're on salary, or if you're on a monthly or a weekly or a bi-weekly pay rate, save some, put money aside for the month or for the week or for that 2 weeks, and don't touch it. Also, I invest or advise to do a spreadsheet or an Excel to keep you on a budget, to make sure that everything is lining up, to make sure that your debt to income ratio is not overwhelming and it does not create a more debtors account to yourself. Another thing, I was actually doing some financial studies of my own accounts, and I have where there's a separate part of my account that goes to a financial institute, and then there's another part of my account that is my nephew. And so there's another part of my account that goes to a spending account, and this is where I do my girly need things like my nails, my gas expenditures, my Amazon shoppings and my Hulu accounts, my Netflix accounts. So it's good that you have a separate account for business matter and then a petty cash amount. That's where my petty cash goes, and grocery shopping and things of that nature. So in order to create a financial balance and keep it healthy and stable, I budget and I plan and I save a lot. And I'm a little hard on myself when I go over. I'm like, dang, I missed it. And that goes with spending. I like to nitpick. I go to the gas station and buy $1 cup of ice, or $2 here or $3 here. I nitpick a lot, and that adds up. So once you cut out the nitpicking spending and the dining, and I found that to be imaginably healthy for me. It hurt a little, but it's health. So health is wealth.
Thank you, Dallas. Those are some great tips, especially about budgeting and keeping money in separate accounts. It's very helpful. So it was a little selfish on my end with my questions. I really wanted to pick everyone's brains to find out what you each do for your mental and physical health. So thank you so much for sharing your insights with me, and I will turn it back to our Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Megan. I think that offered everyone the opportunity to speak tonight. I want to take the next possibly 3 minutes for you to go to those questions that you possibly have for Karen during her speaker nugget. After that, I'm going to turn the meeting over to our general evaluator to evaluate the meeting and present his team. Does anyone have a question for Karen?
Well, I did get one via private chat, so I'm going to address that one first, and it came from Debbie Sue. And
Perfect.
She wanted to know if I collect stories as ideal starters. Well, that is actually 2 different components that I do. I have a document that is openings, and I have a document that's closings, and then I have a document as anecdotes. So when I hear a great quote, I will put it in my openings or closings. It's according to what I think about that. If I hear a story that I think I can use as an analogy, it goes into that other document. So I have documents that I can open up and pull from, because I cannot remember all the wonderful things that I hear throughout the year. But if I document it, then I can go back and look at it. Just like my speech last week when I talked about the perfect mentor, it came from a daily devotion. I was reading a devotion and it was telling me who the perfect mentor was. It didn't say those exact words, but the whole time I'm going, that's exactly who we should be emulating. So I use that as a way to fulfill one of my goals. So when you do your topic selections and you do your topic list, put one in there for openings and one in for closings, so that when you hear all those cute little nuggets that you think, oh, that's a great joke, or that's a great story, or that's a great quote to open with, you've got it somewhere and you don't lose it. Did that answer you, Debbie?
Thank you.
Now, Crystal wanted to know if I write out my speeches or if I just do an outline. I'm old school. I write my speech out, every bit of it. However, when I give it, I may have already pared it down to bullet points so that I'm not reading it unless I haven't had a lot of time to practice it, and then I may end up reading a speech. But of course, my goal is not to have notes at all. So, as I practice and practice, I usually can get it down to where I don't have any notes, but there are times that I do, but I always write my speech out. And I have all my speeches. They're in the given speech folder, and I've probably got 40 or 50 speeches over there in that folder. Any other questions?
I sent one via private chat. I can ask it now. You
Okay.
mentioned writing a speech that matches your audience. How do you prepare for a new audience to make sure your speech aligns or is appropriate to them?
That's a great question. And the nice thing about Toastmasters is you can turn all of your Toastmaster friends into whatever you want them to be. If you know that you're going to go out and you're going to speak to a group of fifth graders and you're going to talk about insects, you can make sure that when you come and practice your speech in front of your Toastmasters group, you tell the Toastmaster, everybody in here needs to think that they're a fifth grader. And that is a wonderful way to practice speeches for, audiences that you're not used to. And we as Toastmasters, I think most of us here do a great job of assimilating other entities, because I've done that with you all. I've told you all, I'm getting ready to go out to a garden club. I'm going to give this. I need y'all to think of yourselves as a garden person. And you all have done a great job asking great questions and making me feel like I'm actually in that audience. So it is something that you may have to research if you're speaking to some group that you've never spoke to before. Like I went out and spoke to a DAR group. I've never been a member of DAR, so I had to kind of do my research to make sure that when I went in and spoke to them, I didn't say anything that they may take offense to. So there are some times that you have to do a little bit of research when you're going out to a group. But again, if I could recommend anything for Toastmasters, is that when you're practicing the speech, make sure you tell the Toastmaster what you want us as the audience to be into. Any more questions? All right, well, I hope you enjoyed the speaker nugget. I'm glad that we're doing this, and I hope one of you all step up to the table to do it again next week so that we can hear someone else's point of view on a totally different subject.
Thank you, Karen. I really appreciate that. I'm going to turn our meeting over to our general evaluator, Ed.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. I would also like to pass the mic over to Dallas so she can evaluate Renee's speech. Dallas, be on mute.
Yes, I am. I am off mute. All right. Let me make sure that I pay attention to the time because I did go over my time. The clarity for the speech was focused and the message was very delivered, clear cut, and straight to the point. When I say clarity, I am acknowledging the vocal variety, the audience awareness, and the tone. It was a very passive tone, yet my daughter's right here trying to get in the screen. Yet it caused me so much alarm and alertness to my ears, making my ears so aware to what she was saying. And that was, and it was very calming too. It also promoted a very calming mannerism. I was a little disturbed due to the eye contact because of the camera was kind of shifted down. So it kind of disturbed my listening. But the more I listened to her vocals and the more clearer her speech became to me, it soothed me, and it felt so clear, and that was really good. The audience awareness, I like the fact that she gave the speech to the speech makers, which invited myself to embrace a more sabracious relationship as it relates to my journey and lifestyle and the lifestyle choices and changing and making myself more acceptable to journaling and letting my emotions flow through speech and not just writing. So it was very thought-provoking. The comfort level, I would give it a 5. Like I said, I was able to tune out everything in my background. You all, you just don't know. I have a daughter in the kitchen cooking. I have 2 daughters and a niece outside playing. I have a nephew that just came in and ran in and gave me a hug all at the same time. I have another nephew in there playing Fortnite. So the home is full, but listening to that speech every time, it just kept grabbing me. So it was really, really good. And the interest of it, I'd also give that a 5. it was interesting to know that this lady, this female, this woman came in, presented a speech. It was clear, it was present, it was focusing and allowed me to focus. And it was last minute and it piqued my interest. So very well written and well spoken. Back to you.
Thank you. Now I'd like to pass to our grammarian, Bill.
Thank you, Ed. Fellow Toastmasters, we did really, really good tonight. Probably Dallas and I are the ones that need to work on our ums. If somebody ever has a good tip sheet on how to deal or how to get ums out of your vocabulary, please send it to me because I need it. I was probably the worst offender tonight. During Renee's speech, she only had one little flub up, and that was using the word salubrious. Just a little pause there. Kalila had one little pause. Everyone else was really good on their table topics. No real bad things or anything. Mine was ums, and so was Dallas's. Ed?
Thank you, Bill. Now, I'd like to pass over to our timer, Crystal, if you'll release your mic.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. We did really well overall on timing tonight. For Renee's speech, her speech was 6 minutes and 30 seconds. For table topics, Ed, 1 minute and 50 seconds. Kalila, you were 2 minutes and 11 seconds. Karen, you were just at 2 minutes. I was 1 minute and 55 seconds. Debbie Sue, you were 2 minutes and 18 seconds. Bill, you were 2 minutes and 8 seconds. And Dallas, you were 2 minutes and 44 seconds. Karen mentioned that we need to get closer to that 2-minute mark. And as you heard those times, we really did well in trying to get to that goal. So congratulations to the Eastern Shore Toastmasters. We are progressing in that. For evaluations, Dallas, your evaluation was within the time. You were 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Congratulations, everybody. Great job.
Thank you, Crystal. Dallas, you did a really good job in terms of the evaluation. One of the things that I've noticed that you've done as you've done your evaluations, you're very detailed in the points. It's not like you're just, hey, you did a good job. It was, hey, you did this point. Your head gestures are 5. You just go right down those points as you make them. One of the things that we do as an evaluator is we try to raise that person up and give them more suggestions and more of a critique. So I would say that as you give your evaluations, it's okay to say, hey, this is how you could do it better in that. And I'd like to give you a plug to the group. My next speech is going to be about just that, how you present yourself. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it different ways to do it? So keep that in mind for the next speech. Overall, for our overall meeting, I must admit the evaluation started last week. It started when we started our roles. We immediately filled those roles, and throughout the week, there are a few holes, but those holes were filled. There was communication. One person reached out and said, hey, can you fill this role? Then another person. So the roles were filled. Dr. Burton, it all fell apart, all of it. This is the point of the Toastmaster. The Toastmaster is not just to go and walk through the agenda. It's to pull it all together, and that's what we saw. If I were to have been a guest and I showed up at 6 o'clock spot on, I would never have known that it fell apart. You did that, Chloe. You pulled that piece together, and not only yourself, but the team stood up as well. So it wasn't just one person, the whole set. And that was probably the biggest thing that I saw as far as tonight as a huge win, because it was so transparent. Overall, I love the suggestions that you gave, Karen. I loved how the meeting flowed quite well. I would say right now, if I had to look at our time, we're probably a little tight. So that's the only negative thing that I could say. But I must admit, it's one of those things, it flew by so fast because it was so good. Excellent job as a team from my standpoint. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, everyone. And today it's funny, I did burst into laughter because you are exactly right, Ed. Today it all fell apart. I actually texted Crystal and she said, wow, what happened? But that happens. We have to be resilient. We have to be agile and be able to bounce back. And Ed, you hit the nail on the head. We have a great team and everyone just jumped in. We actually ended up having 2 speakers on standby in the event we needed them today. And as you see, we were able to go right to the end and indulge in that speaker nugget. And as I told you, I'm a teacher at heart, so I love those speaker nuggets that help us generally. So it is time for our votes. The votes are in. I want to thank Debbie Sue for counting them. Drum roll, we only have 1 contest tonight. And coming back to win again, Ed, you won the table topic for tonight. Great job. Thank you for allowing me to be your Toastmaster tonight. I actually enjoyed it, even though we had a few changes. I really much appreciate that. And I want to encourage the next Toastmaster to try to take the bull by the horns and control the agenda. The officers found a way for the Toastmaster to be able to edit the agenda. So you do not necessarily have to wait on Crystal to do it. You actually want to make it your own as Toastmaster, which is actually the role that also includes filling in that agenda, or at least giving Crystal the names to fill in the agenda. I want to turn the meeting back over to our presiding officer for the night, Crystal.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kalila. Before I close, I just want to tell you all that was some positive feedback that we just received today. And I hope that you can see that through the challenges, it helps you to feel more confident when life doesn't go the way you have planned. I'm sure Kalila feels relieved because we work together, and that is the goal of the Toastmaster of the week. So as we conclude, I pray that somebody steps up, because it takes about a week to get it together, but step up, you can do it. And once you do, you will see that we will work together to make sure that the agenda is filled. So at this time, I am going to conclude the meeting. Meeting is adjourned. Stick around for a rose. You can do it. Oh, I forgot to mention, one of the things we can do each meeting, the Toastmaster can be evaluated if you want to. Kalila, this can serve as your level 5 or 4. It depends on your path. I'll go look. If you haven't completed an elective, the managing online meetings, that's for anybody. If you have that on one of your levels, anytime you sign up for Toastmaster, we can use that as your elective. And then I asked Megan today, did she want to use her role as tabletop as master today for her elective in her path? I believe it would count toward her level 4 path. I can't see it right now, but anytime you serve in both of those roles, it can count toward your elective and you're one step closer to completing that level. So with that, let's start with the Toastmaster. Who wants to do it? You can do it.
May I ask you to stop recording while we're doing this part, Crystal?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Sure will.